Dear Vladimir Vladimirovich, esteemed leaders, it is a great honor for us to host such a distinguished delegation here at the Atom Museum.
Our meeting takes place in an anniversary year for us, the year marking 80 years of the nuclear industry. But there is another reason to have a serious, in-depth discussion about the development of nuclear technologies.
Over the past few years, it has become evident that nuclear energy is an indispensable part of the future energy balance due to its sustainability, stability, predictability, and long operational life of facilities.
And due to the comprehensive positive impact on the economy and on the technological landscape.
More and more countries are choosing nuclear energy as their path of development. It is also important that nuclear energy gives an impetus for the development of a whole range of related technologies, modern computing technologies, industrial technologies, and this also requires its own understanding. Technologies themselves do not improve life. It is necessary changing approaches. A new ideology is needed, a philosophy of equal access to modern result of technological progress. I would like to discuss these topics today.
The discussion has already begun. At the informal table, leaders exchanged views on the history of nuclear energy and, most importantly, on today and tomorrow. And I am very pleased to give the floor to Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
Thank you very much. Dear ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, we are meeting within the framework of the Global Atomic Forum, and I am pleased to welcome here the heads of states, leaders of international organizations, and I hope that together we can specifically discuss the issues concerning the present and the future of the nuclear industry. Such dialogue is especially important in conditions where more and more countries and large companies see global nuclear energy as a crucial resource for long-term accelerated development. A consistent attitude is being formed in society towards nuclear energy as an environmentally friendly technology that opens up enormous opportunities. It is obvious that there are fundamental reasons for such a paradigm shift, and it's not just the reliable solutions on which advanced nuclear power units are built. There is something else important. A fundamentally new technological order is emerging. Artificial intelligence is being implemented everywhere. Significant energy resources are required to process colossal amounts of data. Thus, in just the current decade, electricity consumption by data centers will more than triple. I would like to note in this regard that Russia is already creating such modular data processing systems at its nuclear power plants, since nuclear plants are best at providing consistent and constant energy supply. Another significant factor in the surge of interest in nuclear energy is the demand for so-called green technologies, which minimize the impact on the environment and climate. And I repeat, the key source of clean low-carbon energy are nuclear power plants. They surpass other energy sources in terms of cost, environmental component, and the ability to provide stable energy capacity. As a result, by the middle of the century, according to Mr. Grossi's forecast, if I am not mistaken, according to the IAEA forecast, the total capacity of all nuclear power plants in the world may increase more than 2.5 times and reach almost 1,000 gigawatts. Moreover, the increase in demand for peaceful nuclear energy will be significantly driven by the global South and East, which strengthen their technological and industrial potential. We certainly support the desire for development and the use of peaceful nuclear energy for these purposes. It can be said with some pride that only Russia today possesses expertise in the entire technological chain of nuclear energy. And thanks to their safety and resistance to external impacts, nuclear power plants built with Russian design are the most in demand in the world. I will also add that we are developing projects for both land-based and floating small nuclear power plants. Just now, the head of Rosatom was telling us about this. Very soon, we will start producing them serially. The key to Russia's leadership is our principled approach. First, we strictly fulfill our contractual obligations. I want to emphasize this. We strictly fulfill everything regardless of any political situation. Secondly, we reject the so-called technological colonialism, meaning we do not make our partners dependent on Russian technical solutions, but on the contrary, help them create their own sovereign national nuclear industry, including training personnel and forming a center of competencies. We actively involve local companies, provide assistance in operating power units. We ensure the supply of nuclear fuel and waste management.
I will say more. We share experience and knowledge in the creation of other advanced industries of the 21st century. This includes nuclear medicine, digital systems, electric transport, new materials. As a result, we help our partners make a real leap in development, bring the economy to a new level of efficiency, and ultimately improve people's quality of life. All this is an important public social dimension of our work, a visible confirmation that equal access to technologies, including in the field of peaceful nuclear energy, can ensure dynamic yet fair and sustainable global development. Dear colleagues, we consider peaceful nuclear technology as a basis for broad international cooperation, for bringing countries closer together. Russia is interested in creating stable, long-term conditions for projects in the nuclear field. Above all, for our country, the absolute priority is ensuring nuclear safety and the physical protection of nuclear facilities and installations, wherever these facilities may be located. Therefore, it is necessary to continue increasing the requirements for safety and reliability at every stage of the nuclear cycle, including uranium mining, reactor operation, handling of spent nuclear fuel and radioactive waste. Moreover, regulation in this area must be adjusted to maintain a precisely calibrated balance between the development of peaceful nuclear energy and the strengthening of the nuclear non-proliferation regime. Next, it is obvious that the construction of nuclear power plants requires significant funds, and therefore the risks and benefits must be balanced among the main participants of such projects: states, investors, and consumers. I consider it necessary to develop modern financing models for the construction of nuclear power plants, involving international financial institutions and development banks in such projects. I will add in this regard that at the beginning of the current year, the new development bank created by the BRICS countries confirmed its readiness to finance nuclear projects. And at the end of last year, at Russia's initiative, a mechanism for coordinating the efforts of BRICS countries was created, a platform for nuclear energy. The most important issue is the resource provision for nuclear power plants for decades ahead. To use peaceful nuclear energy in the long term, fundamentally new, more efficient technologies are needed, and Russia is already working on creating such solutions.
Right before the start of this session, with colleagues, before coming out here to the hall, we were sitting and exchanging opinions in an informal setting. And in this regard, I would also like to note that according to OECD estimates, all uranium resources will be completely depleted by the year 2090 under an optimistic scenario. This is approximately 8 million tons.
However, in fact, this may happen as early as the 2060s. That is, it could all happen very quickly, right before our eyes.
Taking into account that A quarter of the reserves are in deposits where uranium is a byproduct already in the year 2030. Now I am moving to the main point, which I believe Russia can be proud of, no? Because already in the year 2030, we in Russia, in the Tomsk region, plan to launch the world's first nuclear energy system with a closed fuel cycle. What does this mean? It is, in the full sense, a revolutionary development by domestic scientists and engineers. What does this mean? It means that practically the entire volume, 95% of the spent fuel, will be repeatedly reused in reactors. Such a mechanism will potentially allow us to almost completely solve the problems of accumulating radioactive waste. And what is also extremely important, it will essentially address the issue of uranium supply. I would like to note that tests of the entire range of advanced materials for the closed cycle are planned at the International Research Center.
It is being formed in the Ulyanovsk region in Russia, and we invite scientists from different countries to collaborate in the development of technologies that, without any exaggeration, open a new era in nuclear energy. Dear friends, our meeting, the Global Nuclear Forum, is timed to coincide with two significant dates.
This year marks the 80th anniversary of the domestic nuclear industry, as well as the Day of the Nuclear Industry Worker, which is celebrated annually in our country on the 28th of September. Let me remind you, we just talked about this with colleagues. I repeat once again, and would like to say it in a broader context. The first decision in the Soviet Union on the development of nuclear energy was made on September 28, 1942. When the Patriotic War was ongoing and the results of perhaps the most dramatic period of the Great Patriotic War were not yet known. The battle of Stalingrad was ongoing. The battle for Stalingrad, it had not ended. And the State Defense Committee made a decision to organize work on uranium. The work began. I would like to sincerely congratulate you on the anniversary of the industry and the upcoming professional holiday of Russian nuclear workers, scientists, industry veterans, and of course, the forum guests. And in your presence, specialists from the former Soviet republics who are united by the traditions of the great Soviet Ministry of Medium Machine Building. These must definitely be continued. I wish you new great successes for the benefit of the citizens of our countries, and without exaggeration, all of humanity. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Vladimir Vladimirovich, for your constant support and for these words, for the congratulations. It is a great honor and a great responsibility to implement everything you mentioned. At our table are countries that are just joining the Global Nuclear Club, as well as those with extensive experience in the nuclear energy sector. In the year 2023, we handed over to Alexei Grigorievich a 2-unit nuclear power plant. And since then, it has provided not only up to 40% of nuclear energy electricity in Belarus, but also serves as a showcase for many countries. Specialists from different countries come to Ostrovets so that Belarusian partners can share their expertise and talk about how this project is being implemented. Alexander Grigorievich, thank you very much for your personal contribution to this project. You made the decision to build the station, you oversaw it from start to finish. You were in fact our curator. And do you know what we are most grateful for?
For asking us in the year 23 not to leave Belarus to stay and deploy an entire Yazas, a whole complex of high-tech projects which we are now implementing. Allow me to give you the floor.
Dear friends, before saying a few words on the topic, I want to draw your attention regarding the forum. Well, you know the situation Russia is in, and we including with the Russian Federation. What don't they write about us today? What don't they say? They call us all sorts of names. You know this too. We are aggressors, co-aggressors, and so on. Well, let's not hide it. Russia, like everyone else, like the other countries present here, has plenty of problems. Especially our Russian Federation has many questions, many problems, and a lot of struggle that will be appreciated in the future. I am simply convinced of this. But nevertheless, what are we talking about today? Are we talking about war today? Are we talking about military issues? No, thanks to the same Russia, which has many problems, we are talking about the peaceful atom. We gathered at the forum where this Russia shares its experience. Name other countries that possess similar technologies that would openly and honestly declare, come and see, the most advanced technologies, technologies that are not openly shared, believe me. I am already an experienced and old politician, and I know practically all the countries that are involved in such things. I have been to some, but to openly in difficult times declare that you should come, we will cooperate with you and we will teach you. I do not know such a country. Russia today has no secrets in the most secretive industry. Well, I say this not because it's a big brother, as I often jokingly say, not because we are friends with Vladimir Vladimirovich. Try to refute my thesis. In difficult times, Russia opens up its most secretive sphere to us. And most of all, as Alexei said here, this was demonstrated in Belarus. Many nuclear power plants have been built. Russia has probably built more than anyone else, and it will build many more nuclear units. But to come to another country and say, we will build for you, here is a loan, we will build the most modern, in some aspects experimental station for you. Sergei Kirienko is present here. We started building the most modern station with him back then and with your builders. And thanks to the president, he told me, we will teach you to build nuclear power plants, and together with us, you will build nuclear power plants all over the world. And together we created a new nuclear power plant, implemented the most advanced project. We created the most modern, beautiful, I am proud of this, the most beautiful nuclear power plant. It is operating today. There was all sorts of stuff and debugging, setting up. New Westerners stopped supplying us with some equipment. Russia replaced it on the go, and we improved the station's operation. We have already met with Alexei there more than once. Therefore, Vladimir Vladimirovich, thank you very much for the decision made. Sergei, Alexei, thank you. Super. Sorry, I already forgot your name. I always called you by name. Thank you for implementing this project. And that Alexei is not leaving Belarus. I will say frankly, Vladimir Vladimirovich and I will consult tomorrow, talk, and make a decision about building a second nuclear power plant in the Republic of Belarus. We have no questions about who will build this station. We will build it together with the Russians because they taught us how to do it, and already, at the request of Rosatom, we are participating in the construction of similar stations in some countries. So I repeat, there will be many stations. But what Russia is doing today in this regard, in a good sense, is beyond the capability of any other country. This is a great endeavor that Russia is carrying out today, and for this, it is respected worldwide. And in the person of Alexei Likhachev and other Russian nuclear specialists, I also want to join the congratulations expressed by Vladimir Vladimirovich. You are doing this worthily, and it is right that you invited us to this forum today. This is an important industry. Today we also saw openly, they told us what Russia can do. Nuclear Week is yet another vivid testament to Russia's undisputed leadership in the field of nuclear science and high-profile technologies on the international stage. I will not, Alexei, read out everything that our specialists suggested to me. I want to publicly ask you once again not to leave Belarus. I think I can convince the President of Russia that we need to continue working in Belarus, and not only in terms of implementing our ideas from the time of Sergei Kirienko. We need to keep eye out. We need to continue working in many peaceful areas, especially in healthcare. And I strongly urge you, with the President's approval, I believe, to resume our progress on the nuclear center in Belarus. I have preserved it as it was handed down to me from Soviet times. There, under Grossi's control, there are quite a few good materials. You know, we faithfully adhere to our agreements. And I want to thank you, Mr. Grossi, for being a real man, a real person. Our station, you remember, was seriously politicized, and we are building there and not building that. And the Americans are against it, while the Europeans were generally furious. You have visited this station many times, but you openly told journalists that do not attack Belarus. They are building the most advanced station with the Russians. There are no questions. But if you raise questions with us, we always address them. Today, the former minister, now the deputy prime minister of our government, who was directly responsible for the construction of this station, is present here. You did a great job. You never let us down with the Russians, never made us justify ourselves. You were so sincere and decent person. That's why Vladimir Vladimirovich said, if Mr. Grossi wants to be the head of the United Nations, well, why would we object? Thank you very much for everything you have done. Everything a person has lived through in the past works for their future. This concerns you first and foremost. And to you, Vladimir Vladimirovich, thank you for the education. Thank you for making our country truly a nuclear state, not sparing any secrets, adhering to international law and principles. We are ready to continue acting not only in Belarus, but also on the international stage, helping to build stations. We already know how to do everything. If you told Sergei Kirienko what we can already do, he would hardly believe it. We cannot just weld the reactor, make it. That is already within your competence and not necessary. We have learned to do everything else, ready to implement in all our partner countries and those who are still considering which station to build. We are ready to participate in this. I can already say that we guarantee the quality together with the Russians. Yes, Nikolai Vladimirovich, if needed, feel free to reach out. If the President approves, we are ready to proceed. Thank you for inviting us to this forum.
Thank you. There is another station that we are all very proud of. Since 1977, a nuclear power plant has been operating in Armenia. In 1988, she survived the tragic Spitak earthquake of up to 9 points. It is the only nuclear unit on Earth that withstood this impact, and since then Armenian specialists have been implementing this project together. Of course, with Rosatom, with our help and support, us Nikolai Nikolaevich, we say this, the station is yours, but the pride is ours together.
and its current stable operation and extension, at least until the year 2036, is completely clear to us. And we are very respectfully observing how you are choosing new solutions, looking at the next step in nuclear energy. And we understand how important this step is, because you are determining the country's policy for at least the next 100 years. Believe me, we will do everything to ensure that all the interests of Armenia and the Armenian people are respected. Allow me to give you the floor.
Thank you very much, esteemed Alexei Evgenievich, esteemed Vladimir Vladimirovich, esteemed heads of delegations, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to express my deep gratitude for the invitation to participate in this important international event in the form of World Nuclear Week. We are also grateful for the warm hospitality and the organization of the event at such a high level. I would like to congratulate the Russian side on the 80th anniversary of the creation of Russia's nuclear industry. This event is a milestone in scientific and technological development, the result of the work of brilliant minds in the field of nuclear energy. It is a pleasant coincidence that the forum is taking place in the year of the 80th anniversary of the outstanding energy specialist, former chief engineer of the Armenian nuclear power plant, Eduard Sakov, who left an indelible mark on the history of the Armenian station. Nuclear energy plays a key role in providing stable and clean energy supply. It contributes to reducing carbon dioxide emissions and supports goals low carbon development. The widespread adoption of digital technologies and artificial intelligence leads to a significant increase in electricity consumption. This, in turn, raises the relevance of nuclear energy as stable and environmentally clean energy source. In the future, nuclear energy will become an important element of a sustainable energy balance. At the same time, every effort must be made to ensure nuclear safety and physical nuclear safety. Armenia takes its international obligations seriously and reaffirms its commitment to the standards and principles of the international non-proliferation regime. Ladies and gentlemen, taking these considerations into account, the government of Armenia has approved a policy to maintain the nuclear power plant as a crucial component of the country's electricity balance. Today, about 30% of all electricity in Armenia is produced at the Armenian nuclear power plant. The safe operation of the Armenian nuclear power plant is a strategic priority for the government of Armenia and plays a central role in ensuring our energy security. The implementation of nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement and the maintenance of national economic growth, at the same time the strategic importance of nuclear energy places a special responsibility on us for present and future generations. We are making every effort to maintain the highest safety standards in this operation of the Armenian nuclear power plant. We regularly conduct inspection and expert evaluation missions, the reports of which clearly indicate that Armenia operates a nuclear power plant in accordance with the International Atomic Energy Agency safety standards, as confirmed by the absence of any incidents related to nuclear or radiation safety. This principle was the basis for the large-scale modernization carried out at the station in recent years, allowing us to extend its operation until the year 2026. Based on similar experience, Armenia like many other countries, decided to extend the operation of its nuclear power plant from the year 2026 to the year 2036. The project for the modernization and extension of the Armenian nuclear power plant's operation is not just a technical task, but the result of a fruitful and trusting partnership between Armenia and the state corporation Rosatom and other with international partners. This extension will lay a solid foundation for a smooth transition to a new power unit. At the end of the extended operational periods of the Armenian's nuclear power plant, which is our ultimate goal. In this context, Armenia intends to further develop close cooperation with the IAEA and partner countries to determine the optimal solution for replacing the existing power unit, taking into account economic efficiency, safety, as well as the features and nature of the country's energy system. New energy facilities being put into operation will become an important factor in regional development. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the experts involved for their work. And once again, congratulate you on this significant anniversary. I express hope for the active continuation of the planned work and its successful completion within the established time frames. Ladies and gentlemen, our transparent policy in the field of safe and peaceful use of nuclear energy remains the foundation for studying advanced nuclear technologies. Non-energy applications of nuclear technologies are also important, such as in medicine, ecology, agriculture, science, and education. We gratefully acknowledge the support and expert assistance, the knowledge and recommendations from the IAEA and partner countries play an important role in the development of these sectors in our country. We hope that mutually beneficial cooperation with international partners in the peaceful use of nuclear energy will continue to develop and strengthen. Together we can create a sustainable future for our countries by focusing efforts on the development of new technologies, enhancing safety and protecting the environment. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, dear Nikolai Vovevich. As we have already mentioned at our table, there are countries that are only taking their first step towards joining the global nuclear energy club. And at the beginning of any journey, the personality of the person taking this first step is very important. The leader of the Republic of Myanmar, Mr. Min Aung Hlaing, personally raised the flag of nuclear energy for his country in the year 2023 and is leading it to results with the determination of a true military leader. It is a great responsibility for us to support Myanmar in the implementation of this project. A number of documents have been signed. This year, we started work on a specific project for small nuclear power plants. We were not stopped by the terrible earthquake that the people of Myanmar experienced this year, and the project is truly becoming a people's project. It is very important to see how fully he is supported by all the residents, Republic of Myanmar. Please, I give the floor to you, highly esteemed Mr. Min Aung Hlaing.
Not only in Gujarat, we were given a camera. In the middle, like a cage, the senior hero Ranga completely...
Isn't it, brother? I have a computer, you know.
The society needed iron. Like electricity, I will cast the shadow of Seiyan Sign Agency, or Iena, the Sergesi Singh. Give number 2 to Sangha, number 4, and remove the wire ahead of number 2.
Oh, but I can't lose anyone alone. Speaking of nuclear science, and it you a in zero carbon emission plants ask about nuclear science too. Let's go one.
The issue of nuclear science will not come up in Rome now.
Instead of energy training seed science book, again in my suppress sites, nuclear policy preparation and Kumon Kwaklu people in Dam, Kanhaya, temporarily used to emerge in any meetings.
They don't miss me twice. Those seats also got...
From start to finish, work on my issue like happiness.
having glimpse and this to me. Even from trouble, what is mine?
Is our friend?
For Mr. Pradhan. For Modi Chi.
For Modi G.
Yes, twice before around Singh warned.
Friend, on your smartphone, on the website's news page.
Open and...
Read a
State, manager, and...
Naman and
Yulia Sakharova.
Russia and
Name and that.
Tom and
Jin, Heaven and Earth, found it.
Cinema. Pavel and other leaders. Football.
Academy, cyber football.
Sanya.
Yuri. Davido.
Vitali.
Academy Sky.
Dancing, music, football. And not just the ball, dance, music. Football. And
Also. Fighter.
Russia, Hediadora.
Moscow, Sky.
Trash.
Trash.
The Kim Jong-il are on the way. Works. Devastation. Apparently, it is about that.
God forbid. Six.
Ron Bogan, you, Zanowski, years I know what needs to, as I know, years, I understand against this background every time, papers 36, 30, what in court, papers, cause, music, and I support. I'm +1, ready, Bill.
Pass.
A commission for conditions Grossi and Daniel. Craig.
everything. And we are here and in Russia too more, and they're also diplomats there. Once again, about this, I capitulate, but excellent, Rafael Grossi.
One, that and O'Keefe and Rosatom being a partner with the country is a way that perfectly ensures the secure use of the atom for the developing country. We need and we have platforms and human resources from human sources. Development and being able to host a facility is not, as you know, as easy as that. So we work together, and this is number one. Number two is very important from this perspective, and I am grateful. You mentioned that the international finance institutions that until just a few months ago were buying anything related to nuclear in the world, amazing. But it was the case. They were saying, if it's nuclear, we don't do it, it is forbidden. So that the variation has stopped in India, an agreement with the president of the World Bank. And by the way, thank you very much also with the president of this leadership, with the NBV. If you want to think the age of partner with the NBV, we have it. And perhaps what you say today gives me a great idea to have an MOU with the NBV of the BRICS and try to help as well. What are we doing? It is very simple for countries, African countries, Latin American countries, when they have a project that can proceed, when they go to the World Bank or the New Development Bank in the future of the African Development Bank. They can turn to us. We can have a very thorough safety, security, technology assessment, which gives to the boards of these banks the assurance that they want, the assurance that they need forward. So this is a very practical way forward that I would like to mention. And the last point would be about these future technologies. I think everybody is talking about modularity. This is all fine, but we also need to make it possible to be delivered to our countries in the United States, because I come from a developing country as well. So here we need to understand that this is a new format for an old technology, and we have to understand what it takes to absorb this. These technologies offer amazing possibilities here. The sources that Rosatom is developing, other countries are also getting into this business of the sources, and also the microreactors. We mentioned as well that for the first time in history, this is very interesting, for the first time in history demand is driving nuclear. And we have this example in the area, which was also mentioned today, of artificial intelligence data centers and all of this. So I invite you all in December in Vienna. We are going to have the first international conference on nuclear and artificial intelligence. So we are bringing all the companies from Russia, from the West, from Asia that are into this marriage that is about to be consummated, but we have to see how it's going to work.
Slow, this is my idea. We are a service to all of you. So we have to look at technology, deployment, the money, which is very important, and the future. And the future means also, and Russia is again a pioneer in this, floating nuclear power plants. Very important even for developing countries that provides very
Interesting ways for countries that have weak grids, but also the transformation of the naval shipping industry into nuclear, which is another up-and-coming tendency. The International Atomic Energy Agency is also coming with Atlas Atomic Technologies license for applications at the Atlas, which is a new project that we are going to be launching. So as you can see, and fusion, of course, this is the country of the tokamak. And Mr. President, again, Russia, then the Soviet Union was ahead of the game, and still today, tokamak is one of the avenues for fusion. And fusion is coming to the market, which is amazing. People used to say fusion is the energy of the future, that will always be the energy of the future. Not anymore.
So this is a time of possibility. The IAEA is there to help you. Thank you, Mr. President, for having us all. Thank you, Alexei, for the possibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, there are different viewpoints regarding the future of thermonuclear fusion. But only one thing is important, that the word tokamak is a Russian word, a Russian abbreviation, toroidal chamber with magnetic coils. This is the absolute truth. Thank you once again to the Director General of the IAEA. The next stage of our discussion, with your permission, esteemed leader, when I would like to give the floor to those who are directly working on creating national nuclear programs in their countries, and start with Iran.
The year 2015 Rostov region. Russia.
I propose we move to Central Asia under the leadership of the President of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev. The Republic has taken a very clear course on rebooting the nuclear sector. Uzbekistan is not new to these technologies. In 2017, the Institute of Nuclear Physics was re-established. In 2018, a Russian-Uzbek agreement was signed for the construction of the first nuclear power plant. In 2019, a branch of MEFI was opened, and just last year, documents were signed and they moved to the site of the small station. We know about the decision to add 2 more large units to this site and are actively working with the government of Uzbekistan on this topic. I would like to give the floor to Jamshid Andukakimovich Khodjayev and inquire what exactly the balance, what is the meaning and the regional aspect in this case of the GIZAK region of the nuclear cluster, and the national effect of acquiring nuclear competencies, in your opinion?
Thank you very much. Esteemed Vladimir Vladimirovich, esteemed Alexei Evgenievich, esteemed heads of states and governments, leaders of international organizations.
First of all, allow me, on behalf of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, to express great gratitude for the invitation to the Global Atomic Forum and to discuss important issues of future energy.
Uzbekistan has been one of the significant producers of uranium for many years. Our country accounts for about 4% of the world's reserves and more than 3,500 tons of production annually. The country consistently ranks among the top 10 largest producers and remains a reliable partner in the global fuel cycle. This foundation is real industrial experience on which we are building the next stage of industry development. Today, on the initiative of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, we are transitioning from a raw material role to creating our own generation based on the use of peaceful nuclear energy. And this has a multi-vector nature. Our joint project with Rosatom, the first nuclear power plant in the country's history, is unique. On one side, in the Gizek region, 2 high-capacity reactors of 1,000 megawatts and 2 low-capacity reactors of 55 megawatts will be built. Such a combined approach simultaneously provides a base generation of 2 and 1 kilowatt and flexible maneuverable capacities. By the year 2035, the station on an area of about 525 hectares will annually produce more than 15 billion kilowatt hours. This project is part of a broad strategy for energy diversification. By the year 2030, the share of clean energy in Uzbekistan should exceed 40%, and the nuclear power plant will make a significant contribution to achieving this goal. We are simultaneously implementing projects on renewable energy sources. By the year 2030, it is planned to introduce more than 12 gigawatts of solar and wind capacities. Combination. The presence of large and small units on one side significantly strengthens the operational resilience of the network and simplifies integration into renewable sources. Large units provide predictable base generation, while small ones offer flexibility to cover morning and evening peaks and serve as a backup during unstable operation of solar and wind stations. Thus, the nuclear power plant will become not just a source of green energy, but a system-forming facility capable of creating energy harmony, considering the accelerated growth of renewable energy sources and industrial consumption. A separate block is the training of personnel, which involves creating a continuous system for training personnel for the nuclear industry, covering all stages of training from school to post-university education, and a system for advanced training taking into account the best international experience. Opening kindergartens with a focus on interest in exact sciences, physics, mathematics, for further forming a general understanding of the peaceful atom. The next step is, together with colleagues, creating specialized Kurchatov classes in one school in the village of Ulubek and 3 schools in the city of Tashkent. The key university for training specialists is the MEFI branch in Tashkent. By the year 2030, more than 300 students from the branch will receive specialized education, so that operation and service are primarily based on national competence. Our students are already studying at the Moscow campus of MEFI in master's programs on a quota basis. And in October of this year, the opening of master's programs at the Tashkent branch of MEFI will be announced. As part of the implementation of the tripartite agreement between Rosatom, Uzatom, and NATO-C, and the main university MEFI, work is underway to launch an advanced engineering school focused on training highly qualified engineering and scientific personnel. The revival and development of the National Nuclear School is a strategic task. It is important for us that the nuclear power plant becomes an anchor for applied research. Work has begun jointly with the Institute of Nuclear Physics to create joint research laboratories. And within the next 5 years, the creation of 10 specialized laboratories is planned. Regarding the question about the effect of the project's implementation for the Gizak region, I want to note that the placement of the nuclear power plant in the Gizak region is not only additional generation, but also long-term industrialization of the region as a whole. Over the past 5 years, there has been active industrialization in the Gizak region with the opening of car manufacturing plants, construction material production enterprises, and the creation of industrial clusters. All this indeed requires significant energy resources, considering that the construction of a nuclear power plant will create a number of advantages and benefits for the region. Firstly, it will increase electricity production volumes, and secondly, construction and operation will create new jobs, specifically more than 12,000 new jobs during the construction phase and more than 2,000 permanent, highly skilled positions during the operation phase. In addition, the city being built for nuclear specialists, which is planned to be constructed as a smart city combining new technologies and clean energy, will become a center of life interests for a large number of people. As a result, This project will attract significant investments to the region, which will contribute to the development of infrastructure, including roads, housing and social facilities. We, together with our partners, are open to broad international cooperation, from engineering and equipment localization to personnel training. The IAEA stated about its readiness to comprehensively assist in the development of Uzbekistan's national nuclear infrastructure in institutional, regulatory and technological aspects to ensure the sustainable and safe implementation of nuclear technologies. Also, with colleagues, we are considering the possibility of creating an international consortium with global technology suppliers for non-nuclear island facilities. In conclusion, I would like to note that for us, this project is not only a step towards energy independence, but also an example of strategic cooperation with the Russian Federation. Thanks to the experience and technologies of Rosatom, we can implement a unique model of the station for the region. And for our colleagues, this is an opportunity to once again demonstrate the effectiveness of their solutions in practice and lay the foundation for joint production, personnel training, and scientific research. Thus, the nuclear power plant will become a symbol of the new industrialization of Uzbekistan, a driver of energy modernization and a solid foundation for the strategic partnership of our countries for decades to come. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ivanish Kapulovic. I suggest we move to the north, to North Africa, where it is being implemented. The largest nuclear energy project on the planet, one of the two largest. In Egypt, at the El Dabaa station, 4 power units are being constructed simultaneously. In the government of Egypt, this work is overseen by the Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Mahmoud Asmak, but also Arabic. I won't die. Your name, no. Your name.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished guests, I thank His Excellency President Putin for the opportunity to be here with you today. I convey to Your Excellency the sincere greetings of His Excellency President Sisi, and I thank you for the kind invitation to participate with you today.
As you kindly mentioned and introduced, and for us the reactor is more than just a source of electricity.
It is actually a new technology entering the Egyptian state, added to the important elements required for energy development or creating a generation of young people with knowledge and understanding of nuclear engineering. And in fact, in this field, we must say that the trust existing between Rosatom and the Authority of Stations helped in achieving progress according to the set plan. And it is also accelerating.
And God willing, the production of the station, if we talk about it in terms of electricity, will add more than 4,800 megawatt to the Egyptian grid.
This produces about 38,000 gigawatt hours annually. It can reduce carbon emissions by about 19 million tons each year, besides the role this production plays in the Egyptian national output. But the truth is the part that
when His Excellency the President spoke, I mentioned the new update in our use or reuse of nuclear fuel, or even when I talked about fusion energy being one of the future possibilities.
When we talk about small and micro reactors, the truth is that the existing technology and the sharing of technology, education and development in this area are carried out by the company Rosatom. of course, under Your Excellency's directives, which are truly appreciated and help in the development and stability of this industry. Your Excellency, when we also mentioned the BRICS group or the available funding, and it's important that there are some enthusiastic parties.
And the opportunity that we also talked about this topic and the agency's direction to have joint cooperation considering nuclear energy as clean energy or green energy, but not green energy. This often leads to a lack of support or funding for nuclear energy projects. And indeed, as all the esteemed gentlemen have mentioned, it is clean energy, even the impact that exists even in the disposal of nuclear waste or otherwise.
And sometimes it requires less energy to create new renewable energy, for example, from solar panels or even from wind production.
We hope, and I mean, considering nuclear energy as one of the clean and green energies. I mean, clean green energy, as mentioned in the agreements in France and the management of these types of energy. And how can this help in supporting funding and the sustainability of nuclear energy?
The truth is, the field of scientific research in nuclear energy and participation in some research related to medicine or radioactive isotopes.
It is a very important part. Rosatom is coordinating with the Egyptian side to achieve significant research levels, for which we thank them.
I thank you for inviting me, and I say that we have managed to achieve about 40% during this period, and by the end of this year, we will have completed 40%.
Today we were celebrating the movement of the nuclear fuel to Egypt. God willing, this will be a stage that can accelerate the installation processes of the reactor afterward. Once again, sir, I thank you very much, and thank you all for this opportunity. And I thank Russia for giving me the opportunity to be with you. Thank you very much.
What?
Where
Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Russian Federation, Mr. President Lukashenko, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol respected, allow me first to fulfill a heavy task, that of conveying to you, Excellence, Mr. President of the Russian Federation, the greetings of your counterpart, the President of the Republic of Niger, General Darme Abraham Chani. I would also like to express our solidarity, the solidarity of the Republic of Niger with the Islamic Republic of Iran in the face of all the aggressions it endures regarding its nuclear program. It is an honor for me to be here with you. And in this regard, I would like to support the position of President Lukashenko, who just said that some countries are not ready to share this technology, and the presence of Niger at this table expresses this generosity of the Russian Federation towards all the people of the globe. Even those those considered small. We do not consider us small in the Republic of Niger. Everything begins with the atom. My speech will focus on 2 points. The first concerns a reminder of facts well known to all, and the second is to share a deep conviction with you. Regarding the first point, it concerns the importance of uranium and the value it brings to people's lives on a global scale. For in a world where the demand for electricity increases each year by nearly 3% and where more than 700 million human beings, I am indeed speaking of human beings, not animals, remain without access to energy. It is evident that no single renewable source can guarantee the stability and continuity necessary for energy supply. Nuclear power plants provide a decisive answer. Continuous power on a large scale and without massive carbon emissions provide energy. Uranium in particular is a unique resource. A few kilograms are enough to produce the energy equivalent of several thousand tons of coal or oil while preserving the environment. So it is much more than just a question of energy. It is a path towards social justice, towards affordable electricity for all, and towards a future where access to energy will no longer be a privilege but a right. Niger holds a unique position in this global equation. The first signs of uranium were discovered there in 1956, and industrial exploitation began in 1968. Since then, our country has established itself as one of the major global suppliers, contributing to the energy security of many countries, some of which have not been sufficiently grateful to Niger. And I can assure you that some of them have faced the consequences. In this regard, I would like to recall or share a little anecdote. In 2009, when the former president of the Republic of Niger demanded from a country that had been exploiting uranium in our country for more than 40 years to come and revise the uranium sale prices, and that the Nigerian government submitted its desire to engage in a nuclear power program. The president of that country at the time said, "Do not dream." Excellency, Mr. President, you are smiling. I am sure you understand who it is about. Among our resources, we have the Imuraren deposit, which is one of the most important in the world, with reserves estimated at 235 million tons. We do not come empty-handed. We hope to put it into operation with the cooperation of the Russian Federation. Mr. President, this is an offer from the Republic of Niger for Rosat. These assets are not just numbers, they are a global responsibility, because A stable, secure, and fair production of uranium is essential for the success of the global energy transition.
The President of the Russian Federation spoke about the possibility of a shortage of uranium resources.
Around the years 2080 to 2060, I think there is much to explore and much to discover in our countries.
Since today, the known uranium reserves in Niger are estimated at 500,000 tons of uranium metal. This is to tell you that these reserves have been discovered on less than 20% of our subsoil knowledge.
This brings me to the second point of my speech, where I would like to share a deep conviction. When we talk about uranium exploitation, it is not just about techniques or standards.
It is above all about responsibility towards the communities living around the mines, towards the producing countries, towards the investors, towards the consumers of nuclear energy, and even and especially towards future generations.
As I mentioned, higher up, Niger, like other producing countries, has long contributed to the world's energy supply. But too often the benefits of the atom have not resulted in equitable prosperity for us. That's why I believe it's time to take a new step. It's time to propose an innovation in how we conceive the value of nuclear energy. This innovation, I call it the atomic dividend. Mr. Dr. General, you can note it down. The atomic dividend for us is based on a simple idea. The wealth generated by the atom must be shared equitably and not concentrated in a few hands. It will not, of course, be about diluting the advantages of investors, but about making them
as sustainable for them and for all other stakeholders.
Aware that energy is the engine of development, Niger has therefore included a nuclear power program with the goal of building a nuclear power plant with reactors of 1,000 megawatts each year. And here as well, I am addressing the president of Rosatom. This is a proposal for you.
We are ready to carry out this project with you under the supervision of the AUA, which is present here and whose Director General was received in Niger. And we had met on other topics on the African continent. Yes, you might say that we are ambitious. Yes, we are ambitious. But this is for us and for our continent. Earlier, Your Excellency, Mr. President, I was in a panel where a map was presented with the different nuclear power plant construction projects, or rather nuclear plants. Your Excellency, there was just one plant in the planning stage under construction on the African continent, and it is that of our Egyptian friends. When we take stock Currently, there is only one plant built on the African continent. It's the one in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. So, if we commit to something big, it's not just for us.
Or just as the Russian Federation has shared, Mr. President Lukashenko, we ourselves want to share with the entire African continent what nature has endowed us with, that is, uranium, to transform it into energy.
Our cooperation with the Russian Federation illustrates this ambition. We have already signed, an MOU with the minister from the Russian Federation who was visiting Niamey in Niger at the end of the month of July, and an MOU, therefore, within the framework of cooperation in the field of energy, and particularly in the field of nuclear energy. It is therefore based on the transfer of skills, or the training of our experts, and the exploration of all peaceful applications of the atom, Mr. Director General of the AUA, improvement of agricultural crops and reduction of post-harvest losses, biological control of harmful insects, sustainable management of water and soil, strengthening of technical platforms for the management of certain diseases. The rehabilitation of mining sites, and you visited one that was abandoned by the former operator without further ado, gradual introduction of nuclear power into our energy mix. In other words, when the atom lights up one part of the world, it should not leave another in darkness. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, this atomic dividend rests on two pillars: the responsibility of exploitation, protecting the environment, guaranteeing the health and dignity of workers, ensuring transparency and innovation. The second pillar is the balance of resources, a fair distribution between what is extracted and what is returned, between immediate profit and sustainable development.
Between the light that shines elsewhere and the light that must also shine where uranium is produced. Excellence. The 20th century saw the birth of the atomic age, often marked by fear and domination.
Today, we have the opportunity to redefine the 21st century as the age of the atomic dividend, because when the atom is guided by responsibility and solidarity, it is not just a source of energy. It is a promise of the future, and Niger, rich in its uranium, strong in its view and resolute in its vision, is ready to stand alongside the Russian Federation, an open, available, and committed player in building this shared future. Together, let us make the smallest element of matter, which is the atom, the greatest symbol of solidarity and prosperity for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obochi, for your speech and for the specific proposals you made in the field of our bilateral cooperation. They are extremely interesting.
Dear Vladimir Vladimirovich, leaders, we are moving to the important final part of our discussion. Now, representatives of non-governmental international organizations and associations will speak. And as you can see, this will be the most wonderful part of our discussion. I would like to give the floor to Ms. Samin Bilbao Leon. She heads the World Nuclear Association. The association unites more than 100 countries and organizations, and despite direct commercial competition in some places and current political storms and lightning elsewhere, it manages to maintain a constructive attitude and work related to expanding international cooperation. It is important to note that not only nuclear organizations are showing more and more greater interest in the development of nuclear technologies. Please, Sama, the floor is yours, and share your experience on how you manage to maintain this consensus, this stability in a large international organization.
Thank you very much, Mr. Likachev, Mr. President, Excellencies. It's truly a pleasure to be here today with all of you. Thank you for the opportunity to join in this first Global Atomic Forum in the context of the World Atomic Week. And it is also a pleasure to celebrate with all of you 80 years of the Russian nuclear industry. As you very well said, World Nuclear Association is the international body that represents the global nuclear industry. We have more than 250 member organizations in 44 countries on all continents. And really, what we are trying to do is bring together the global nuclear industry. So we actually share best practices, and we are the voice of the united global nuclear industry in all issues. So we work together in a few cycle issues. We work together in supply chain. We work together in workforce issues. We work together in making sure that we have the right policies, the right markets, the right regulations to have financing. So all those issues we are tackling from the point of view of the industry. And we are proud to work also together with the International Atomic Energy Agency, bringing in addition to the expertise of the agency, Mr. Grossi, the expertise of the industry to many newcomer countries that are looking to move forward very pragmatically. So I will say that among some of the activities that the association is doing, I will highlight our efforts in the Net Zero Nuclear Initiative, which I think it captures a little bit this collaboration, this united nuclear industry at a global level. We launched this initiative in 2023 at COP28 in Dubai. And the goal of this initiative is to at least triple global nuclear capacity by the year 2050. And today it has assembled a very ambitious coalition. We have over 31 countries, and I really hope that perhaps by COP30, some other countries that are here will also join this coalition. We also have 14 of the world's largest banks and financial institutions and 16 large energy users, including Google, including Amazon, including Meta, Dow Chemical, and many other large energy users. So what I'm trying to say here is what Mr. Grossi expressed today, what I think is quite unique. For the first time, I will say, in a long time, there is consensus in society. From the policy makers, from the financiers, from the energy users, from civil society, that using nuclear energy is an imperative if we are serious about meeting climate change goals in a manner that is timely, that is cost-effective, and that is equitable. In other words, that we ensure socio-economic development, quality of life, prosperity for everybody in the world. So as I said, this coalition of the ambitious recognizes that without a significant expansion in nuclear energy, there is no way that we are going to achieve this. So I do want to share with you what this means, because tripling our nuclear capacity perhaps doesn't mean anything for many of us. So today we have about 400 gigawatts electric of nuclear capacity at a global level, and this provides about 9% more or less of our global electricity. So if we were to triple global nuclear capacity by 2050, we would simply maintain 9 to 10% of global electricity. Why? Because the demand is growing very quickly. The world is trying to industrialize. The world is trying to electrify, and nuclear energy needs to go at this speed. So our studies tell us that tripling global nuclear capacity by 2050 will be around 1,200 gigawatts of nuclear electricity. And by the way, our World Nuclear Energy Outlook report that we will release at COP30 this year tells us that this is well within reach. If we look at the commitments of many countries in this table and others around the world, we really are there. So, but at the same time, this really means that, 10% is really not enough. We need to be more ambitious because this is just electricity, and we know that nuclear energy can help with much more than that.
Could be a game changer to decarbonize, many aspects of the economy.
District heating, shipping, as we discussed a second ago. Process heat for the chemical industry, for the petrochemical industry, for the metallurgical industry. There are infinite opportunities for nuclear to actually contribute more to society, and this is why you will always hear me say at least tripling global nuclear capacity.
So really, this is just more than numbers.
This is actually bringing together all the stakeholders that already understand the full potential of nuclear energy, and together catalyze this joint effort so we can actually remove all the obstacles and actually accelerate what we need in order to deliver the full potential of nuclear energy. So maybe I think I will say that for this what we need is a united approach and a new mindset. We need the bold visionary leadership that we are seeing around this table and in many other places around the world. So I would maybe just end with a thought that I want it to be taken as a positive thought. So, the nuclear industry is often reminded that we are all in this together, that our risks transcend national borders. And many people will say, an accident anywhere is an accident everywhere. Well, I want you to think of the other side of this coin.
I want to highlight the enormous opportunity, and this opportunity also transcends borders.
So I would like to remind you all and the global nuclear industry that a successful nuclear project anywhere will translate into success for nuclear energy everywhere. So with this thought, I really think that we would like to work together and deliver, because the more that we deliver, the more opportunities there will be for all of us.
So thank you for the opportunity to join you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sama, for the very constructive cooperation. Sam just talked about forecasts, and our analysis indicates that more than 70% of the future demand for nuclear technologies will be met by the countries of the Global South, primarily BRICS. BRICS, which is the heart of the emerging multipolar world system. Since last year, the atomic platform of BRICS has been operating. It is headed by Ms. Else Poole, and I am pleased to give the floor to Else.
Thank you, Mr. for the introduction. Your Excellency, Mr. President, heads of state, ladies and gentlemen, today we live in a time when the world is searching for affordable, reliable and sustainable solutions to the growing demand for energy while preserving our planet for future generations. The BRICS countries have stepped forward as true leaders of this transformation. Almost half of the world's population, but also a dynamic force of economic growth, technological innovation and people of a multipolar cultural code. BRICS is also a leader in nuclear energy, and our leadership is showcased by the fact that a third of the world's nuclear fleet and more than 70% of nuclear power plants are under construction, are being constructed in the BRICS states. Nuclear energy stands out as a cornerstone of our common agenda. Nuclear power is reliable, low carbon, and scalable. It provides the backbone for industrial development, energy security, and technological sovereignty. However, the true measure of progress is not simply in the speed of innovation or clean energy sources, but in its ability to save humanity. To save humanity within a human-centered worldview, nuclear power becomes more than a technology. It becomes a responsibility, a promise to safeguard both present and future generations. This is precisely why BRICS nuclear platform holds such a unique and strategic role. Within our platform, we embrace a new humanistic agenda, one where humanity, human dignity, security, and development stand at the very center of our global vision. The platform is a business association of companies and entities from BRICS and partner countries. Our platform is aimed at leveraging the best expertise, technological and production capacities in nuclear. We consist of participants from 8 countries: Russia, China, Brazil, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Bolivia. We remain open and glad to welcome new members from BRICS countries and BRICS partner states. The platform's philosophy consists in an equal, non-discriminatory approach to both vendors and consumers, and its mission will be to assist in the implementation of nuclear energy in the BRICS and partner states. The platform covers most topics relevant for the nuclear industry, like financing, supply chain, innovative technology transfer, transparency, and public acceptance. We aim to make the world a better place for the benefit of humankind, with a special focus on human development. We witness how BRICS itself grows stronger year by year. The expansion of membership and the deepening of cooperation across energy, finance, and education confirm that BRICS is a living architecture of global multipolarity, where nuclear energy is now firmly embedded in the BRICS agenda. The Russian Federation is making a strong contribution to this shared effort. Russia has decades of experience in the peaceful use of nuclear power and world-leading technologies, and continues to play a pivotal role in shaping our future. Taking this opportunity, I would like to thank you, Mr. President, on behalf of the BRICS nuclear platform, for your immense contribution and support for the development of nuclear energy all over the world. Our collective task is clear. We must align science and conscience, progress with responsibility, and power with humility. If we succeed, the humanistic agenda will become the cornerstone of a new global order, and this agenda must be integrated into the platform's multilateral projects, which will ensure the best results in the global business and cooperation. Today, many international organizations are developing common standards and regulations across key sectors of the economy that contribute to cross-regional projects and cooperation strengthening. For BRICS, I believe it will be truly groundbreaking to launch similar work in nuclear business. With your support, Mr. President, and with the active participation of BRICS leaders, we can make this vision a reality.
Thank you very much, Elze. Thank you immensely for your personal leadership in the creation and development of the BRICS nuclear platform. I am confident it has a great future. Dear discussion participants, we plan nuclear projects for decades with an approximate lifespan of up to 100 years for our facilities. This means that more than one generation will work at our nuclear facilities, will develop nuclear technologies. This means that youth projects, the work of today's students, are key factors for tomorrow's success. Rosatom has many youth projects. One of the most prominent is the Impact Team 20FEFAC. And one of the representatives of this team, Diana Gamazova, is here at the table. She was born in Kazakhstan, studied in the United Kingdom, is currently interning in Germany, but wants to work at a Rosatom facility in Kazakhstan. So Diana, we give you the floor. And of course, we would like to know how you see this connection of times, the connection of generations.
how can your generation be as prepared as possible to continue the projects that are starting today?
Hello everyone, Importil 2050. This is a team of young leaders from different countries who promote nuclear technologies among the youth. Yesterday, on the sidelines of World Nuclear Week, the work of a large team of 100 young leaders from 33 countries began. The guys represent parliaments, international agencies, scientific centers, and nuclear industry associations. Together, we studied the challenges and prospects of nuclear technologies. We felt that despite the different cultural contexts of the countries, we are united by understanding. In the world, there is a growing desire for a just world where there is no discrimination in access to nuclear technologies. It is clear to us that without nuclear technologies, humanity cannot move to a new stage of development, also without new values and principles. Ms. Puglia already spoke about this. And we, the youth, absolutely agree with the inevitability of using nuclear technologies. We understand that it is us, the future specialists, who will be at the helm of nuclear organizations, ministries, and industries. And we believe that cooperation should be built on new principles. We decided to prepare a declaration of atomic cooperation, where we will record our principles, taking advantage of the unique opportunity. On behalf of young leaders from all countries, I would like to ask you a question. Vladimir Vladimirovich, what is important for the youth to consider? On what principles should cooperation be based so that humanity can use nuclear technologies for the benefit of the development of all countries and peoples? Thank you very much.
An unexpected question for me, but
an unexpected question, but nevertheless, I will repeat what has already been mentioned here. Equal access to technologies is the first. Second, unconditional responsibility and heightened attention to safety issues. These are probably the two main postulates. And everything else is a matter of technique. And with a desire for cooperation, all issues, and there are certainly many, will all be resolved. There was a big debate about whether nuclear technologies can be considered clean energy. Well, of course they can. Now I think the discussion is over. Even the seemingly cleanest types of energy, such as wind energy, solar energy, are associated with what? It is related to storage devices. It is related to energy storage batteries. And what to do with these batteries? There is no absolutely 100% transparent clean energy, but nuclear is undoubtedly one of them. The technologies are developing, and what we talked about today, including new closed-loop technologies, essentially lead to the infinite use, so to speak, the infinite use of available resources with such colossal efficiency and minimal impact on the environment. These are undoubtedly the technologies of the future. And the future belongs to young scientists, young researchers, young engineers and specialists. So thank you very much for developing this topic, and good luck to all of us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for today's work.